I'm Annette Armentrout.
And I'm Matt Armentrout. We've been married for 15 years. We'll be 16 in November. And about a year and a half ago, we had realized that we had major issues. And after not talking and staying on separate sides of the bed for several nights, and finally we broke down and finally started talking about stuff, and realized that we needed to do stuff more Christ-like. So after having a conversation that lasted several days, we finally started working through some stuff and started focusing our marriage on God. We started out by doing, the Love Dare. After going through that, we realized how important having God in your marriage was, and it changed our lives, and it's something that we feel very passionate about.
We'd just reached a point where for years we'd always said divorce wasn't an option, but we kind of reached a point, like I said, about a year and a half ago, where we didn't really have a marriage anymore. It was almost like we were divorced in a way, because we didn't spend any time together, we didn't do anything together, very rarely talked, and then it just kind of reached a breaking point. And it was an uphill battle, getting it back together, but I mean, I think one of the first things we did that was important to me was we kind of set a bedtime for ourselves. And mainly what it was we actually had a time every night that we turned the TVs off, and we would just sit and talk about our day, about how we were feeling, the things that were going on, whatever book we were reading at that time, whether it was the Love Dare, or as soon as we were done with that, we do a devotional every night for couples. We've done about 3 different books now, because every time we finish one, we just go get another one. We've got a couples Bible, so we read from the Bible every night together. We're working on the praying. We're still not great with the praying every night together, but we've been working on that. So we just have spent the last year trying to go from doing nothing to every month we try to add something new in, so that we're doing more and more together as a couple.
The toughest part probably for us was to actually open up and to actually say what was on our mind and what was going on and how we felt.
It was hard, because almost when we sat down and had the first big discussion, and that you almost had to look at everything as if it wasn't personal, because otherwise you were going to take everything back in as just what a failure you were. And it wasn't that you did anything on purpose to fail, it's just stuff had built up over years. And for us, even, there was stuff that built up for us that was back from our childhood that we just buried within ourselves, and even over 15 years of marriage had never talked about.
We had God as part of our marriage before, but it was really at a point where if something didn't change, our marriage wouldn't be there.
I think if we didn't have God, hadn't brought God into our marriage, I don't think we'd have a marriage today. I think everything boiling over a year and a half ago would have been the end of it. It's a completely different lifestyle for us, maybe even more so for me, because 15 years ago when we got married, I wasn't a Christian. In fact, I purposely asked for God to be written out of our marriage, because I was not a Christian and didn't believe in it. I mean, it was 6 years into our marriage before I found Christ. So it's a completely different way to look at it today, to ask Him to be there every day.
I mean, we still have issues. You still have slumps where you go through, and like we hit patches where we're not doing our devotional every night or whatever, and we can tell when that happens.
Life's a reality, and stuff catches up with us. We have 2 kids. I mean, we're busy nightly with them. We volunteer. We both work full-time. I think the big thing is we learn to stop always looking towards just the next big thing. So we've just learned to find the little things each day, especially if we know the day is going to be crazy, and we concentrate on those instead of worrying about the next big one.
I grew up from a family that was divorced. I look at it and go, I don't want that to happen to my kids. And I want to try to work my hardest to make sure that that doesn't happen. It was just basically, it depends on what your commitment is to your marriage. I mean, you made a promise to God and everybody else that you're going to marry to this person forever. Are you really going to fight for it or not?